few days ago, and this was around Thanksgiving, I was talking to a old female friend of mine, and she had told me that she had sex with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend, I had known her. Okay, for some to preface, this is not a jealousy thing. Um, this is not a I wish it had been me. No, both of these people, well, first of all, I had known this female friend, for around 12 years now, and her boyfriend. I mean, we all went to the same elementary school. So, and her boyfriend, I know him, even though I wasn't friends with him. I've known him for 9 years now, if we consider it from the time I first met him till now. And when she told me this, I I was just shocked. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I'm reluctant to say it because it sounds corny. But the kind of feeling that I had, it it was like it made me question, what have I been doing? It's not even like sex is a foreign kind of concept to think about for me. I mean, hello, Gunnar here. But it's it's different when you have this kind of thing happen to someone close to you. And it's not as if I had never heard of people having sex in close proximity to me. Hello, in college, you hear all the time about um, people in dorms. I've never had the misfortune of seeing it myself, but people hearing and sometimes even seeing students having sex in the dorms, and sometimes even in the library. But it's like seeing someone, or it's like hearing about a friend who had uh, a death in the family versus actually experiencing it yourself. It's just so different. Host edit me here. What I meant to say was this was just kind of a very foreign thing to think about for me. Everybody knows that to be conceived, your parents had to have sex, but it's just not something that you think about at all, much less imagine. You don't think about your parents having intercourse in the same vein. You just didn't. It was just so foreign to me to think about this friend getting stuffed like a turkey. It's just, anyways. And I said before that I was kind of reluctant to say out loud why I was just so shocked. Shocked and I felt this kind of deep hollowness, or I guess this deep kind of sadness about my kind of situation. If I had to put a reason to it, it would be that I had been living in a kind of bubble of sorts. What I mean by that is, of course, I know that every day and every moment, everyone is doing their own thing, and we all have things going on in our lives, but it's just never. Even if you talk to people, unless you're really good friends with someone, you never really get that kind of it. Like, yeah, you know this for as a fact, but you never really know it. Um, and I guess what I'm saying all this to lead up to, uh, is to say that I've become very acutely aware of what the importance um of changing your environment, or I guess, yeah, that's it, of changing your environment and the kind of people that you surround yourself with. Because, and it sounds so bad to say this. It just sounds so pathetic to say this. But I mean, I personally don't have any kind of this feelings of sex as kind of this, new chapter in your life, but it is a new experience, and I'm not going to kid myself and say that this is not something that I have experience with. Like, of course I said it myself, it's a very different experience in person, and kind of intimately, I guess, if you could say that, versus just hearing about it or even just seeing it, and it's just not the same. Going back to the point, of course I had known that it's important to, or sorry, yeah, it's important to challenge yourself, to change your environment, to do new things, right? There's a saying that hold on, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But up until now, I mean, I only know that on theoretically, on paper. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense logically. If you want to, you have to challenge yourself. If you want to become better, if you want to in anything, if you want to improve in anything, don't stick yourself, in the same well. I mean, you can't if you want to improve. It's just not going to happen. You don't want to end up a frog in that well. But it's a completely different experience. Just knowing that and actually knowing it. There's nothing I can say via words, but that's just the kind of experience. And I can't really formulate this kind of thought well. There's just this kind of brain-body disconnect. I just feel like I'm just operating at 10% capacity. But I think I kind of understand how it is to be a parent. I've heard about, no matter what, a child will always be a baby in their parents' eyes. No matter if they're 2, 10, 15, or 25, or even 50. It doesn't matter. I guess this is kind of the same thing that's happening. Yeah, and the reason I'm having such a hard time phrasing this is because, I mean, would you consider parents to be living in a bubble of their, own delusion and their, like, I don't think what I'm saying is completely hogwash, if you could say that. But and there's a gift, and there's a gift that very aptly described my kind of immediate emotion at the time. Here it is. But the kind of question I just asked myself, which is just, what am I doing? What have I been doing?